So you know that song is probably one of the best descriptions of this last of the 12 powers that we'll talk about today, which is life. Because the life that we know, the life that we live, comes from our imagination. And I think of, as you were singing that, Mark, that pure imagination in our vernacular is God mind. You know, this world of ideas out there from which everything is created. And everything comes from that pure imagination. And yeah, if you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. But then if you want hell, and that's in your imagination, just look around and view it. You know, this power of manifestation that we have is always at work. We are manifesting in every single second. So what we're experiencing here, we have all individually and collectively created what's happening right here, right now. And that seems ordinary. You know, if you just let that pass and not think about it or not take it in, not really think about it, then it's some ordinary thought that'll just go away and you'll go on with life thinking that it's ordinary and thinking that things kind of happen to you and lose the significance of what manifestation is and what life is, because life is that animating force, which we believe is God, that thing that's in and through all things, that's in me, in my body, in every single cell of my body, in every single cell of your bodies, every single thing that is happening to us, with us, for us, as us, is that animating force of life, all of which comes out of that pure imagination. And I still think, because it does for me, and it is in this moment right now, if that doesn't stop you in your tracks at some point and realize that in each moment God is happening to you, for you, as you, then I don't know what life is for you, because that takes my breath away. And in my hardest moments, it has enabled me to manifest what I truly want, as opposed to what was thrown at me. And that is extremely mind-blowing, empowering. The thought of God as life should blow your mind. And if it doesn't, I'll pray for you. Because you're missing life, the richness of life. So yesterday I got an email from a woman named Robin, who is the niece of Mary Lou Geist, who is the founding minister of this center. And she found me because the genealogy expert that was hired by the state of Texas contacted me to ask some questions about Mary Lou Geist and to confirm some things that they kind of knew about her life but didn't have confirmation of. And I had a conversation with her. We probably talked for about an hour one day, and this was last year sometime. And then the woman asked me, would you be willing to talk to the family if we can find some family? Because they were having trouble finding the family. Mary Lou Geist did not have children of her own, but she had two siblings, a brother and a sister, who were not close to her. She was estranged from her brother. Brother was deceased at the time that I was talking to this genealogy expert. So they were really searching for family members. so they could handle Mary Lou's estate. And so the genealogy expert put that information out there. They went to work. Robin eventually got my contact information. And I wasn't even, her email was in my spam folder. Usually I check my spam folder every several weeks or so. I'll check it. Because stuff that I'm looking for, people say, I emailed you, and I say, I don't see it. And it's usually sitting in my spam folder. But something else I was looking for inspired me to look at my spam folder, and her email was there. And it had come about an hour after I looked at my spam folder. And I called her right away, because something said call her right away, even though I was in the midst of preparing for this morning. And she and I got to have an amazing conversation about Mary Lou Geist, who she was as a minister, as a woman, as an aunt, as a wife. I wish you all knew her. I knew her a little bit, and I've told this story before because I was introduced to her by one of our former board members when I first came on in 2018. At the time, Mary Lou was caring for her husband who had Alzheimer's, and Mary Lou herself was in the first stages of dementia herself. But I got to have some days with her and got to find out what were her dreams and visions when she started this community 35 years ago, almost 36 years ago now. And we got to have some time together. She was just a wonderful, sweet, she was a gentle woman, and strong, not but strong, and strong, and very much not just versed in unity principles, but she lived them, and she knew them, and she taught them, and she was excited about them. And even though she could not be here physically because she was caring for her husband, she wanted me to know that she was thrilled that we were still here and alive, that the thing that came out of her pure imagination ended up being this 36 years later. That ended up having life, that got animated from an idea that she had, that she was inspired to go into ministry and to start a community, is now this, thousands of people later. She gave birth to something. She animated an idea. She used that power of life to bring something into fruition, to manifest it here. And who knows how many people have come through this community in the last 36 years. And then I end up talking to her niece in a conversation last night, and we get to talk. She had been searching for her aunt for years. She started in 2010. She found her in 2016. So about the time when I was starting here, they were starting a relationship, and they had some contact with each other. They had some time actually together, not just on the phone. But she didn't get to know her well because Mary Lou was in the beginnings of dementia. And so even as she found her aunt, she was losing her aunt. And so we talked for about an hour last night, sharing stories, the two of us in tears, talking about this woman. Because for me, Mary Lou was like my spiritual mother. She was and a mentor for me, even though I didn't have a lot of time with her. But look what's come out of pure imagination for Mary Lou. And I've talked to you all. I'm connected to each of you, so I know your stories. I know the healing that has happened in your lives. People have come to me and say, my life has changed now because of what is happening in this community. That's life at work. That's the power of life at work. The power of life at work. I sent Robin, that's Mary Lou's niece, I sent her pictures of the sign that says that the Serenity Suite is dedicated to Mary Lou. And I sent her a picture of the front of the building so that she could know what this was, get an idea of what this is. The life that her aunt had, the life that her aunt gave to each of us. Mary Lou is like a spiritual mother to each of us because it was her work, her willingness to say yes to life and to say yes to something that came out of pure imagination that birthed something 36 years ago. Every single time we are inspired by whatever you want to call it, the ethers, the universe, some people call them downloads from God. Every single time you are in a creation mode. We are not just created by God, we are creators with God. And depending on where your beliefs are, we are creators as God. Doesn't matter where your beliefs are, as long as you know you're creating in every moment. Every second. And so if you decide you don't like what life looks like right here, you can create life anew in the next moment. Simply by going into pure imagination and saying, what do I want now? What's possible now? What could we, God and you, God and me, what could we do now? Again, if that doesn't stop you in your tracks, check your pulse, people. This thing. Jesus knew what that was. Jesus harnessed it every single moment, every single miracle he performed came from that pure imagination. Came from him knowing that he was not just a part of that imagination, but that he was using that. And by using it, he could create whatever needed to be created in the moment. And so that reading from Discover the Power Within You about Jesus and his divinity, and if we stop running around talking about, oh, Jesus was so great, Jesus was great. Yes, Jesus was great. And he kept saying, it's not all about me, people. It's about all of us. He always gave us back our power by saying, oh, okay, it's not about me. Yes, 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 but it was your faith. And what is faith? Faith is just that belief in the pure imagination, the power of all that that is. That's what faith is. He was just the way shower. He was just the teacher. And we have power too, that power of life, to animate things, to take things from imagination into manifestation, no matter what it is. You know, how many of you have seen The Secret, the movie? And it was great, and a lot of people were excited about it, and then some people were poo-pooing it because they said, okay, it got us too focused on material things. But it doesn't matter what I've manifested in my life, even if it was a material thing, I still got goosebumps all over when I was looking at the manifestation in front of me in physicality, or whatever it was, if it was a relationship or whatever it was, I still had goosebumps all over the place because I was aware that that was the animating force of God through me making something happen. And there it is right there. No small thing. So it doesn't matter if it's a car or a house. No matter what it is, it's still the life force coming through pure imagination, through you, through your faith, into life. Physical life. Right in front of you, in your circumstances, in your path. You're looking at it. You're feeling it. You know it. Every single time it has stopped me in my tracks. I got goosebumps. And most of the times I had having my happy tears. And saying, oh my God, it's happened again. Oh my God, it's happened here. That's the power of life. We get to use it. We are it. It's flowing through us all the time. So what Paul read about creation is about those moments. And he was specifically talking about our physicality, our bodies. And that our bodies are this life in physical manifestation. And so now, every single day, I affirm that God energy, God's substance, God's space, it is in every single cell of my body. Every single cell of my body. And I always affirm that this body is magnificently healthy all the time. Because it is. In pure potentiality, in pure imagination. That's what this body is. That's what each one of your bodies is. Magnificently healthy and pure potentiality. And if you're not feeling it, it's because you have not taken in the fullness of it or the understanding of it. And it may not happen quickly. And it may be frustrating and hard. But Myrtle Fillmore, one of the co-founders, Charles's wife, used that to heal herself of tuberculosis. I've told you that story before. And it did not happen for her quickly. It took her years to manifest that in her body. It took her that long to embody that. And then she healed others. People used to line up in the morning to wait for the Fillmores to come out to pray for and with them so that they could have healings as well. That's the beginnings of Unity. It was a healing ministry. That's life. So where is your belief about this? You know, it's not easy. It's not easy. I had a health journey last year that rocked my world for a time. But I had to get with it and know that this power of life is real. Is real. And I had to make it real for me. So that meant that everything that I used to say about health and healing and about this power of life, I had to embody that. I had to get to the point where I was no longer just talking about it, reading about it, knowing about it. I had to know it in my bones. And it took time. It took hours of prayer. It took hours of visualization. It took hours of affirmation. It took hours of tears. It took some fear. It took some trepidation. Sometimes it was baffling. Sometimes I wondered, can this really happen? Can it happen for me? Is this real? Because I didn't have to deal with this before on this level. I dealt with it on other levels, but not at this level. But logically, rationally, I knew that it always works. And every single time I went and I used these powers that we are given, these powers that we are, every single time it worked. I'd never been failed. Never. So I knew, rationally, it's not going to fail now. But the proof is in the pudding. You got to go do the work. You got to get with pure imagination. I had to sync my human imagination with pure imagination so I could manifest what I wanted. And what I wanted was life. What I wanted was life. Vibrant life. And I got it. But man, the work had to happen. You got to embody this. You got to know it. You got to go from the rational, you got to go from the head to the heart, which they say is the longest journey. It might only be this number of inches, whatever the heck that is. But the journey to knowing something rationally, to knowing it in your heart, and then being able to manifest it in your life is the longest journey. If you've never been there before. But if you're willing to let go, or if you're willing to be in that space of pure imagination with God as God, whatever you believe, then it can be done. There was a celebration of life on Friday, which Laura beautifully facilitated, and I got to sing. And one of the grandsons was talking about his grandmother. And he would say a couple of lines about her, something he loved about her, and he said, and I celebrate that. And he would say something else, and he said, I celebrate that. And he would say something else he loved about her, and he said, I celebrate that. He must have done that 7 or 8 times. And that's what life can be for us if we harness this power of life. That you can have a couple of moments and say, oh my God, I celebrate that. I had this issue, and I harnessed life, and now I can celebrate that. That's what life should be. That's how rich life should be if we sync in our mind with the mind of God and know that that is ours to work with and to be. You should be walking around every single day saying, I celebrate that. That relationship was damaged. It's now healed. I celebrate that. I didn't have fulfilling work, but yet I synced my mind with the mind of God and imagined something new for my work life, and I celebrate that. Celebrate that. I celebrate that. How many times do you say throughout your week, I celebrate that? If you're not saying it often, you're probably not living life fully. You're probably not harnessing this power that we have within us to live life full out every single moment. Given, folks. Yet we walk around like we're victims of whatever comes our way. And maybe we are some days because stuff happens. I was just going to say the other word. Stuff happens. Might be where I am right now. Because stuff happens, right? Slaps you in the face, knocks you down for a bit. And you say, you know what? I don't want to do this. I don't want to do it now. I don't want to do it tomorrow. No, not having it. But in the next moment you can say that I have this power of life and I get to harness it. I get to choose from pure imagination what's going to happen here. I get to sink in with that and move forward. And not only can you have it, but you can heal it. And you can turn it into whatever it is that you can imagine. That you can imagine with God, with the mind of God. Stop living life like you're powerless. And I invite you to get acquainted with the fullness that you are. But the fullness of life that's possible. So that every single moment, no matter what comes your way, you can say, I celebrate that. Let's take this in a meditation. So breathe, just breathe. Just breathe. We've all got something that's confounding us. And maybe you got at least one. And I want you to consider what that thing is. And just let yourself be with whatever that thing is. What belief do you have about that thing or yourself or about life that has led you to believe that it's a problem? That maybe it can't be healed or resolved? That is inescapable? That it's just your plight? That it's just the way things are? And you might as well get used to it. What is that thing? What is it? And now in this next moment, I invite you to be open to choosing something different. Say in your heart of hearts that you are choosing something different now. And you may not know what the different is. But invite in pure imagination, the mind of God, that knows things we don't know, that can conceive of things we can't conceive of, that knows your body is perfect, not just in potentiality, but in physical manifestation, that knows your financial situation, not just in pure potentiality where abundance overflows into your life every single day, so much so that you can't keep track of it. But that pure imagination knows that that can be made real in your life. And that you can live this physical existence with a freedom you've never known. You can ask Spirit, you can ask God, the mind of God, to surprise you. With something your human mind just can't wrap itself around. mind of God is limitless. We too are limitless if we allow ourselves to be with God. If we stop thinking that what we can see with our physical eyes is all there is. This physical life is the tip of the iceberg. Like the point of a needle in the vastness of space. So now I invite you to harness the power of life. Let it loose upon whatever this situation is. Let life have its way with whatever is confounding you. That's life with a capital L. That's God. God mind. Pure imagination. Pure love. Pure beauty. Compassion, unity, strength, power. Let that loose upon whatever is confounding you. Let your imagination loose. Take that journey from your head to your heart about this until the very thing that is confounding you becomes no thing. Nothing. Choose life. Here and now. Choose life. Choose life in its grandest, richest, most beautiful, most free iteration. Choose life. Choose freedom. Choose love. Choose. And when you start to doubt, be still and know that God is. Be still and know that God is. God is in the midst of whatever it is that you're grappling with. Let God, let life loose upon whatever it is you're grappling with. Choose life. Let's take a deep breath in, breathing in and exhaling, and in each breath choosing life. Every time you breathe in, remind yourself about the power of life, the power that is life, the life that is all power, all goodness. and that you are that same life in individual form. Choose life. So in this moment, in your heart of hearts, say, I choose life. And I let life loose upon this thing in my life. And it has been healed, it has been resolved, it has been worked out. And the thing is now no thing. And I celebrate that. I celebrate that. We claim healing it. We claim resolution. Before it comes in physical manifestation. And that's what seals the deal. Giving thanks. I celebrate that. I celebrate that. And so it is, and so it shall be. Amen.